It is 7 in the morning. The house is completely quiet. You shuffle into the kitchen, still half asleep, and your dog comes running to greet you. And then you see it. Those two ugly, rusty, reddish-brown streaks running straight down from the corners of their eyes, staining the beautiful white fur on their face. And when you lean in close, that faint, sour, musty smell. If you are living with this right now, I know exactly how disheartening it is. Your dog is perfect. Your dog is sweet. But every single photo you take, every time a stranger leans down to pet them, all you can see are those stains. And I know how much money you have already thrown at this. The $8 bottle of tear stain wipes that did absolutely nothing. The $40 tub of powder that promised miracles and got tossed in the trash 3 weeks later. And I know some of you have even walked out of a vet clinic holding a bottle of antibiotics, a drug called Tylosin, told to give it to your dog every single day, forever, just to keep the fur white. But what if I told you that you do not need antibiotics? You do not need expensive wipes. You do not need bleaching powders. What if I told you that the reason those stains keep coming back is not on your dog's face at all, and that the real fix, the permanent fix, is sitting right now inside your kitchen and your refrigerator? If you saw the thumbnail of this video, you saw the promise. Today I am going to show you exactly what to put in your dog's bowl so that within one single week, those stains begin to fade, and the fur that grows back in comes back clean and white. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In my clinic, tear stains are one of the most common complaints I hear from pet parents. And I want to be very honest with you from the very first minute. Almost every single product sold on a shelf for this problem is a scam. They are designed to bleach the outside of your dog, when the problem is 100% coming from the inside. Now, I know a lot of you watching are also fighting obsessive paw licking and itchy skin, and I have already made a full masterclass on the hidden root cause of that, so make sure you go watch that one right after this. But today, we are focusing entirely on the eyes, the wetness, the rust-colored fur, the smell, and exactly how to shut it down naturally, permanently, using ingredients you almost certainly already own. Before we go one step further, if you find this helpful, please hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell right now so you never miss one of these masterclasses. It genuinely helps this little channel protect more dogs. So grab a notebook and a pen, because we are covering 3 things today. What that rust color actually is, why your dog's body is producing so many tears in the first place, and the exact bowl formula that starves the stain right at its source. Let's start with Chapter 1. What is that stain, really? I want you to walk over to your dog right now and look closely at those streaks. They are not dirt. They are not mud. They are not old food. That rusty, brownish red color has a name, and once you understand it, everything else in this video is going to click into place. Your dog's tears contain a molecule called porphyrin. Porphyrins are iron-containing waste products. Every single day, your dog's body breaks down old, worn-out red blood cells, and the iron locked inside them gets released. That iron waste has to leave the body somehow. In a healthy dog, the vast majority of it leaves through the digestive tract, quietly, invisibly, in the stool. But whatever the gut cannot handle gets pushed out through the body's backup exits. The tears, the saliva, the urine. And here is the part that changes everything. Porphyrin is completely colorless while it is wet, but the moment it hits sunlight and oxygen and sits on a strand of fur, it oxidizes. It rusts, exactly like a bicycle left out in the rain. That is why the stain is always that same specific brownish red color, on every breed, in every country, all over the world. You are not looking at dirt on your dog's face. You are looking at rust. You are looking at iron waste that your dog's body could not process internally, so it dumped it out through their eyes. Now, I want you to do something for me. Lean down and gently smell the fur under your dog's eye. Go on, do it right now. Does it smell sour? Does it smell musty or bready, a little bit like old dough? If the fur is not just stained but also slimy, crusty, or sticky, then you have a second problem stacked directly on top of the first one. That smell is yeast. The yeast is called Malassezia, and it lives on the skin of every dog on this earth, completely harmlessly, until it finds exactly what it needs to explode in population. And what does yeast need? Warmth, darkness, and constant, unrelenting moisture. So think about the geography of your dog's face. A permanently wet channel of fur, tucked underneath the eye, pressed against warm skin, shaded from the air, never fully drying out. That is not a face. That is a greenhouse. The tears create the wetness. The wetness feeds the yeast. The yeast irritates the delicate skin. The irritation makes the eye water even more. And around it goes, forever. That is exactly why wiping the face never works. You are wiping away the smoke while the fire is still burning underneath. So the real question was never, how do I clean this stain off? The real question is, why is my dog's body producing so much excess iron waste, And why are those eyes watering nonstop in the first place? And the answer, my friends, is sitting right there in the food bowl. Let's move to chapter 2. Here's the veterinary truth that almost nobody bothers to tell you. Excess porphyrin production is very often a warning sign of a struggling gut and an overloaded liver. Remember what I said, iron waste is supposed to exit through the digestive tract. When the gut is healthy and balanced, that iron binds up inside the intestines and leaves in the stool, silently, exactly the way nature designed it. But when the gut is inflamed, when the good bacteria have been wiped out, when the intestinal lining becomes porous and leaky, the body simply cannot process that iron waste properly anymore. It backs up, it circulates, and the body starts desperately hunting for backup exits. The tear ducts become the overflow drain. And what causes that inflamed, unbalanced gut? Look at what is in the bowl. The overwhelming majority of commercial dry kibble is built on cheap carbohydrates: corn, wheat, potato, peas, tapioca. Those starches are not there for your dog's health. They are there because a manufacturer physically needs a binding agent to hold that little crunchy pellet together in that shape. But once that starch enters your dog's body, it converts almost instantly into sugar. And sugar is the single favorite food of yeast on the entire planet. So follow the chain with me here. High starch food creates high sugar in the gut. High sugar feeds the yeast. Overgrown yeast inflames the intestinal lining. Inflamed intestines cannot dump iron waste properly, and that trapped iron waste gets rerouted straight out through the tears. Meanwhile, that very same yeast colonizes the wet fur underneath the eyes. It is one single enemy attacking you from two directions at the exact same time. Now let me give you a real-world example. An owner brought a beautiful little white Maltese into my clinic. 2 full years of tear stains. She had bought every powder, every wipe, every miracle supplement on the shelf. She had spent hundreds of dollars. She was frustrated, and honestly, a little embarrassed, like she had failed him somehow. I asked her one simple question. What does he drink? She said tap water, poured into the same plastic bowl every single morning. We changed 2 things, nothing else. We switched to filtered water, and we replaced that plastic bowl with a stainless steel bowl scrubbed clean every day. Within 3 weeks, the discharge had dropped dramatically, and the fur growing in at the root was noticeably paler. Which brings me to something almost every single pet parent gets wrong. The water bowl. If your tap water is high in minerals, and the tap water in most cities absolutely is, then you are pouring extra iron and extra magnesium directly into your dog's system every single time they take a drink. Think about that. You are literally adding more of the exact substance that is staining their face. Switching to simple filtered water is one of the cheapest and fastest changes you can make in this entire video. And for some dogs, it alone cuts the staining in half. And the bowl itself matters enormously. Plastic bowls develop microscopic scratches all across the surface. Bacteria crawl into those scratches, colonize them, and build a slimy protective film. That bacteria then irritates your dog's face and mouth every single time they eat and drink. If you have ever picked up a plastic bowl and felt that slippery, slimy coating on the bottom, that is exactly what I am talking about. Throw the plastic bowls away today. Replace them with stainless steel or ceramic, and wash them in hot, soapy water every single day. If you are already learning something new here, please hit that like button. It is the single biggest thing that tells the algorithm to push this holistic advice out to other pet parents who desperately need it. Now, chapter 3. Let's build the bowl. This is the part you have been waiting for. We are going to change what goes into that bowl so the body stops overflowing iron waste out through the eyes. Ingredient number 1. Plain, unsweetened kefir, or plain, unsweetened yogurt. This is the single most powerful thing you can add. Kefir is a fermented milk drink absolutely loaded with live probiotics. When you stir 1 spoonful into their dinner, you are shipping in millions of good bacteria that crowd out the overgrown yeast, calm the inflamed intestinal lining, and get that gut back to processing iron waste the way it was always supposed to. A small dog gets about a teaspoon. A large dog can comfortably handle a tablespoon. But now please hear this warning, because this one is life or death. When you buy yogurt or kefir, you must flip the container over and read the ingredients. You are hunting for one single word: xylitol. And sometimes it hides under a friendlier name, birch sugar. Xylitol is an artificial sweetener found in many sugar-free and so-called diet yogurts, and even a microscopic amount will cause a dog's liver to fail. Only ever buy 100% plain and unsweetened, with 0 artificial sweeteners. Ingredient number 2. Pure, 100% canned pumpkin puree. Not pie filling. Not the spice kind in the orange can with the cinnamon. Just plain pumpkin. Pumpkin is loaded with soluble fiber, and soluble fiber is precisely what binds excess iron and waste inside the intestines and escorts it out through the stool, where it belongs, instead of letting it circulate and leak out through the tear ducts. 1 spoonful over the kibble is all you need. Ingredient number 3. organic, cold-pressed, unrefined coconut oil. Coconut oil is extremely rich in lauric acid, which is a genuinely powerful natural antifungal. As it moves through the body, lauric acid attacks that yeast from the inside out. And here's the bonus. You can also take a tiny fingertip of solid coconut oil and gently massage it into the stained fur just under the eye, being extremely careful never to get it into the eye itself. It creates a waterproof barrier, so the tears literally bead up and roll off the fur instead of soaking in and rusting. Start with a quarter teaspoon for a small dog, up to a teaspoon for a large one. Ingredient number 4, fresh curly parsley. And please be very careful here because I am talking specifically about standard curly parsley, not spring parsley, which is toxic to dogs. Plain curly parsley is packed with chlorophyll, which is a natural internal cleanser that supports the liver and the kidneys in clearing waste out properly. Take a tiny pinch, chop it up very finely, and sprinkle it over dinner. We are past the halfway point now, and if this has been valuable so far, please make sure that subscribe button is turned on and that notification bell is tapped so I can keep making these masterclasses for you. Ingredient number 5, omega-3 fatty acids. Go grab a can of sardines packed in pure water with absolutely no added salt. Mash one up and mix it into the food twice a week. Omega-3s are nature's anti-inflammatory, and they calm the inflammation in the gut lining and the inflammation in the delicate tissues around the eyes at the very same time. If your dog refuses fish, a splash of unseasoned homemade bone broth does beautiful work too. But never ever buy human bone broth from the soup aisle at the grocery store. It is loaded with onion and garlic, and both of those are highly toxic to dogs. Just simmer plain chicken or beef bones in water in a slow cooker at home. Now let me show you the outside routine, because while the inside is healing, we still have to manage that face every single day. Every morning, take a soft, clean cloth or a piece of medical gauze from the pharmacy, dampen it with warm filtered water, and gently wipe the wet fur underneath both eyes. And then, this is the step that absolutely everybody skips, you must dry it. Take a second, completely dry cloth, and pat that fur bone dry. Yeast cannot grow in a dry environment. If you wipe and then walk away, all you have done is make the greenhouse warmer and wetter. And take a hard look at the hair itself. If the fur around the eyes has grown long enough to fold back and physically poke the surface of the eyeball, that alone will cause constant, relentless watering. A careful trim by a groomer, using blunt-tipped scissors, can sometimes solve a tear stain problem all by itself. Now, Chapter 4. The honest truth, because you deserve it. Everything I have shown you today works, and works beautifully, when the cause is diet, water, gut imbalance, and yeast. And that covers the overwhelming majority of dogs walking around out there. But I would be a bad veterinarian if I did not stop and tell you when to close the pantry and go see a professional instead. If your dog is squinting, if one eye is producing dramatically more discharge than the other, if the discharge is thick, green, or yellow instead of clear, if the eye itself looks cloudy, red, or painful, if your dog is pawing at their face or rubbing it along the carpet, then stop. That is not a cosmetic stain. That could be a blocked tear duct, an ingrown eyelash, a scratched cornea, an active infection, or in some flat-faced breeds, an anatomical problem with the eyelids that no amount of pumpkin on this earth will ever fix. Go to your vet, please. And here's the last honest thing I owe you. The stained fur that is sitting on your dog's face right now is permanently rusted. It will never turn white again. That fur simply has to grow out. So what should you actually be watching for? You watch the root. You watch the brand new fur coming in at the base, right against the skin. That is where your victory shows up. Within about a week, the wetness itself and that sour smell should be visibly reducing. And within 3 to 4 weeks, you will see a clean, pale line of new white fur growing in at the base. That clean line is proof. That is how you know the gut has healed. We are almost at the end, and if you have made it this far with me, please leave a like on this video. It costs you nothing at all, and it helps this channel enormously. So let's bring it all home. We have covered kefir, pumpkin, coconut oil, curly parsley, sardines, filtered water, and stainless steel bowls. And I know exactly what you are thinking right now. You are staring at that list feeling a little overwhelmed, wondering how on earth you are supposed to get all of that into a bowl tomorrow morning. So here is the golden rule. Do not do all of them. I promise you, if you dump kefir, pumpkin, coconut oil, parsley, and sardines into your dog's bowl tonight, you will be cleaning up an explosive mess on your carpet at 3 in the morning. Their gut simply cannot absorb that many new rich ingredients all at once. Instead, use the simple bowl formula. Every day when you pour their food, just pull out slightly less kibble to make room and add 3 things. Only 3. You pick 1 gut healer, a spoonful of plain kefir, or a spoonful of plain unsweetened yogurt. You pick 1 binder, a a spoonful of pure pumpkin puree, or a splash of unseasoned bone broth, and you pick one yeast fighter, a little coconut oil, or a tiny pinch of curly parsley, and then you rotate them through the week so their system stays balanced and their stomach never gets overwhelmed. That is it. That is the whole system. It takes about 10 extra seconds a day. Do that. Switch them to filtered water. Throw out the plastic bowl. Wipe and dry that face every single morning. And I promise you, within 1 week, you will notice the fur under those eyes is drier to the touch. That sour smell will begin to disappear. In a few weeks after that, you will be looking down at a clean, pale, brand new line of white fur growing in at the root, and you will realize that you fixed it. Not with antibiotics, not with a $40 tub of powder from a shelf, but with what was already sitting in your own kitchen. Living with this is exhausting, and it makes you feel like you are somehow failing your dog. You are not. The simple fact that you sat here and educated yourself instead of buying one more useless bottle off a shelf tells me your dog has one of the best pet parents in the entire world. So if this masterclass gave you hope today, please hit that like button, hit subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you never miss the next one. It genuinely helps us reach and protect so many more dogs. Now go give your beautiful dog a gentle scratch behind the ears for me tonight. Stay safe and always trust your instincts.